Here we go. We are pretty much live. Yes, Beth, so we're live? Yes, we are live. Woo! Welcome. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Lately Live. This one is extra special because Tamara McCleary is here with us today. And, we were just so excited to have her in our midst and to have her be willing to say, come on, yeah, I want to come on. So thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. By quick introduction, it's hard to read through your bio quick because it's like, pretty extensive of awesomeness, but I'll try. So Tamara, there she goes. Tamara is the CEO of Thulium. They're a global social media and analytics consulting agency, and she ranks in the top 1% of influence globally, like total badass, right? She's also been named the #1 most influential woman in MarTech by B2B Marketing. She's been recognized by Entrepreneur Magazine as one of 10 online marketers to watch, featured in Forbes umpteen times, and also she's a global tech advisor to SAP, Cisco, Dell, AWS, IBM, Verizon, on and on and on and on. Welcome, Tamara.
Thank you. No, I'm really excited. Could this be a one? I mean, this is such a great topic. Fabulous format, and look at us. We are doing the future right here. We're using video to connect. I love it.
It's wonderful. Yeah, and it's so good because, we make so many friends now without ever seeing them anymore. And so once in a while, when we get to have this experience, it's like, oh yeah, hi, how are you? We instantly get to know each other better. Right? I know. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, thank you. And it's just something so about setting eyes on somebody, that particular event, right? Even if it's in a still photo, but of course, better, that really connects you and can leverage your influence for sure, which is part of our conversation today. And specifically, just so everybody's dialed in, we wanted to ask Tamara, who's obviously an influencing juggernaut, how can you take what she knows, how can you take all that knowledge and that skill and leverage / educate / transfer it onto employees? Da, 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 da. Yeah, right. So what do you think about that, Tamara? My guess is most people are kind of freaked out about that idea when you propose it to them. Like, what's the take normally?
I mean, and the first thing I want to say is that, it's never about what we know or what we've learned in the past. It's what we're learning today. So the first thing I want to say is all I am is a hungry, curious student every day. So I'm learning as I go along. And so we're in this together. I kind of believe there aren't experts anymore. It's about how quickly can we learn and pivot and move and innovate and even question and disrupt ourselves versus, the old school way, which is I've studied and I know this, and this. Doesn't play today, right? Because you may have knew it, but it's changed. So first of all, I just want to level that playing field and say, we definitely are in this together and learning. And I am so excited just to share some of the things that I am learning. It's active. And that is that it is scary we work in the B2B and enterprise space, and a lot of these are heavily regulated industries. We're talking energy and utilities, financial services, healthcare. And so it's not like you think of like the B2C, you think of, all the fast food restaurants, the energy drinks, and, I was going to say brand names and I'm like, don't do that. We're on But, what
hard not to.
At here is, that B2C is rather sexy and fun and hip and cool, and you can be snarky and do all these things online that you can't do in, say, financial services, healthcare, right, energy and utilities, because it's heavily regulated. So this is a space we swim in. So it's absolutely a concern when you look at companies going, okay, so if we empower our employees to be very active on social media, what's the risk inherent in that? What's our risk mitigation strategy? What if somebody has a few too many glasses of wine at night and decides to just spout off, which, I think we all have seen how people can kind of spout off on social, and that's a really good idea. And so when you look at the responsibility that some of these organizations have and their legal teams have, they're a little nervous about the fact of having employees out there on social media. But this is a whole new world. And what I'd like to say about that is that we toss out all these terms, right? Digital transformation, disruption, innovate, and, blah, 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 blah. What is all that? What it means is that we're all under new rules now. And the consumer, whether it's B2B or B2C, it's still a person. So it's the same person, and us included, right? So we're consumers. It's a new world. We expect more. We expect more from companies. We expect them to engage with us. We expect them to be a part of our world. And savvy consumers that we all are now, we demand transparency. And so companies that are classically sheltering themselves because they're afraid of, falling into any sort of risk management, a debacle, they're no longer able to do that anymore because their customer, even in a B2B space, is expecting them to show up, be transparent, and have a human feel to them.
Right.
Because we demand that. And so it's the customer who's in power, right? So we're basically shaping what organizations do in order to capture our attention. No more powerful vehicle in the universe do we have right now for communicating than social media. So it just stands to reckon that these organizations absolutely must have an engaged workforce, but do it elegantly and intelligently. That means educate your employees and your workforce how to craft a positive personal brand on social media, because their positive brand reflects positively on the organization just as much as a negative brand would negatively impact the organization. So not only employees have to be astute and do this properly, but the executive team as well. They don't get off the hook because the executive team is leading the organization. So even CEOs today of these global brands may have in the past shied away from, oh God, the board's going to kill me if I say this. They'll shy away from doing it, but they can't anymore. They have to be actively out there, and they too need to do it appropriately, be coached appropriately, so that their true, authentic human 360 view of them is their voice is being displayed accurately on social media in such a way as to not only elevate their personal brand, but the company, the organization. If you like the CEO, you like the brand. If you hate the CEO, you don't want to interact with the brand. And the CEO drives the vision for the organization. And if the executive team isn't behind it and doing it, why would the employees want to do it as well?
Sure. So interestingly, and I feel 100% the same way, right? Like, and that part of that goes to the company you work for, right? So if you're not willing to say wonderful things about the company you work for, you should probably work somewhere else, for sure.
That's one tip. One takeaway from this program is if you don't like the company you're working for, find something else.
It's time to go. But then I also wonder, like larger companies have this problem. I mean, as a startup, we don't so much. And to tie in with that, like, I hire the people I work with and who are working with me and for lately, I trust them to make mistakes. And so because that's who I hire. So like, and that's what I want them to do. I want them to feel comfortable talking on their own. And I know that I won't have that luxury, like as we grow, larger. But the one thing I do see with a lot of larger brands is they're boring. Let's be honest, right? They're so worried about being conservative or saying the wrong thing that it's just like, kill me now, right? So how do you coach them out of that to make their human actually human?
What the most salient piece of what you said is how do you coach them on that? And really it's about educating the workforce and the executive team I mean, they're all in this together, right? It's educating them on how to craft a potent, powerful self on social media. And see, what happens is if you just tell people, we want you on social media, go out and get engaged and do that. I mean, heck, that's crazy, because I don't know, but we only have 24 hours in a day. We're working, right? Because we're not financially independent and just like globetrotting around the world and enjoying the fine life.
Not yet.
Right? And so, asking people to just go out and get on social media is not effective, because we all need to be wise with our time and energy, and hopefully having a life off of line as well. So having a strategy helps you to use your time efficiently so you don't get sucked into the bubble of social media, but also you realize what your purpose is on there. And so you don't have to be on every platform. It's really hard to do. So you have to kind of pick and choose where do you want to be known? Where is your audience? Is it, for us in the B2B and enterprise space, it's LinkedIn and it's Twitter. Those are the two primaries, right? And then I love Instagram just personally because it's your life in pictures, and I love photography. And then Facebook is kind of like your friends and family and colleagues that became your friends, and sometimes alcohol's involved, right? So, but none of that on Twitter and LinkedIn. Those are to me, Twitter's that news aggregate, put out good content. It's short, it's staccato, it's a cocktail party. Where you don't just dump information on people. I see people using Twitter wrong all the time. If you were at a cocktail party and someone walked up to you and shoved a brochure in your hands and just started spewing every little marketing line and name dropping, that's the inappropriate use of tagging everybody you start name dropping everywhere. Everyone thinks you're the biggest jerk in the world, and you'll never be invited back to another party. So there are social norms on these different platforms that it's really important to teach employees. Twitter is a business cocktail party where, you should first enter the conversation gradually. Don't just dump in there. And Twitter is not a form of free PR where you just start dumping all your company's information, because guess what? Nobody cares. So, teaching them how to do that. LinkedIn is the boardroom. LinkedIn is your business meeting. LinkedIn is your sales meeting, your marketing team meeting. That's where you don't post pictures of yourself and your buddies going to the big brew bust. That's not the platform. Go do that on Facebook or Instagram. But on LinkedIn, again, think about, what do you click on? Are you going to click on somebody's LinkedIn profile when all they do is share every company generated post? No. Why? Because you're exactly right. It's ring. No one's clicking. Oh, really? Big surprise. Why would you click? I wouldn't click. So why are you sharing that? Instead, take what your organization is putting out and now humanize it. Why is it important to you? Why are you excited about it? Why is it meaningful? Pull it into your own sphere and personalize it. And then, for God's sake, please do not make all of your posts 100%, retweets on Twitter or shares on LinkedIn of all your company's posts. That's not having a social profile. That's just pumping out content that no one's looking at anyway. So
a lot of folks say like the 30-70 rule. Is that your rule?
I do a 30-30-40.
30-30-40? Okay.
I do. And then for individuals, not companies. Companies a different ratio. But for an individual, it's 30% your company, your business, your role, whatever you're doing professionally, 30% of your posts are around that. But again, humanize it, personalize it. Don't just share it. Nobody cares that way. 30% is, what else in your life do you love? My God, is it that you just work all the time, or do you have other interests like movies? Are you into, motocross? Are you into running or skiing, hiking? Are you really into, saving animals at shelters? What is it in your life that lights you up besides work? And if you don't have anything besides work that lights you up, you and I need to talk. because life is short and you better grab this one and just suck the marrow out of those bones. So that's the other 30%, because people want to know you. What makes you tick? That's your differentiator. And then the 40%, this is what makes it really easy to be on social media. 40% of your content is sharing other people's stuff that you admire, that you like, that you really enjoy their content. Share their stuff.
It's easy.
You know? And so if you have a structure and a container around how to be online, it makes it so much easier. You know, when you look in our space, there are a lot of champions out there in this B2B and enterprise space. And, you know, one of our Thulium clients is Mercer. And I have to give a huge shout out to Danielle Guzman, because she's their global head of social media. And she has literally transformed this employee advocacy, employee engagement within Mercer. If you see their hashtag, it's Team Mercer. I think it's Mercer. It's amazing. In fact, she's been so prolific and such a leader driving this area that she actually won an award from Dynamic Signal of Communicator of the Year.
So tell me, like, what's a tactic that she used? I'm really curious.
You know what her tactic is, she involves the employees in getting excited around their campaigns and initiatives and what Mercer is all about. And isn't it about building a community anyway? She gets people excited about their jobs. She clues them into how what they do is absolutely instrumental in what the overall organization is driving to do. So everyone feels like they're a part of a team. And when we look at the future of work, isn't that it? We want to all be a part of a team, whether we're working in an office together or we're working remotely from home. We want to be a part of something greater than ourselves. And people need work that's meaningful and real. And when you feel like what you do matters, and that's what she does brilliantly, she makes people feel seen, heard, and acknowledged. And so here she is really rocking this employee engagement, employee advocacy space within an organization that traditionally people would go, wow, you know, how are they doing it? She's rocking it. And then you look at like SAP is doing a great job too. And, you know, you look at Alicia Tillman, she's their global CMO. My God, she's active online, and she is active online. You see, she's got videos and she's really engaged. She's funny. She's real. Okay, global CMO, real. I mean, aren't we attracted to executive leaders who are real and approachable and we can relate to them?
It sounds like with her too, or with any of these leaders, like, so I'm hearing a couple of things from you. I just want to summarize is like, number one, if you want to inspire engagement from your employees, walk the talk yourself.
Amen. Wait, that's such a concept. Model the behavior you wish to see.
Right? So, okay, noted. And then two, and I love this idea that I'm just kind of gleaning and maybe making up, but the idea of celebrating in order to get people excited about their work, probably publicly acknowledging their work often in a social space might be a great way to do that. Yeah?
Absolutely. You know, I think the new leadership of today is a leadership that leads by example, but leads also by empowering others, versus in the past, the leadership was all about power over others. Not anymore. Thank God for the younger generation rising up and rallying and going, we don't care about your positional power. We want to know what you're doing. And I love that. Thank goodness. We need a shakeup. And what you're seeing with global leaders like an Alicia Tillman, Danielle Guzman, is that they are not only walking the talk, but they do give back credit and accolade to those that are also leading the way, and those may be reports. People aren't them. But that's a sign of a true leader and a secure person too, right? These are powerful women who are not insecure, and they are sure of themselves, and so they don't have a problem giving credit where credit's due because they don't have ego issues. You know, someone else who I think is rocking the space on social in the B2B. So if anyone thinks B2B isn't like getting sexy, I'm going to say you need to be following these people because this is super sexy on social. But Ursula Ringham, are you familiar with Ursula?
Yes.
She is head of global influencer programs at SAP. And I mean global, that woman's all over the place. But she rocks the social spheres. You look at her posts and they're very human. They're very real. She's sharing her life. She's sharing her, you know, wins, what she's excited about. The common denominator about all these powerhouse women is the fact that they're not negative. Everything they share is very positive. It's uplifting. It's inspiring. And one thing I would say that organizations are afraid of if they get their employees online is that someone's going to go off negatively. And this is where the education and coaching comes in for your workforce, is that you don't share or vent on social media. That's not the appropriate place. Yes. Okay. You know, when I see people just venting and going off because they had a bad, you know, experience in traffic, I'm like, really? Is this what your purpose is on social media? So when I'm coaching executives on how to build their potent, powerful brands on social, it's about find the 3 adjectives that you want to be known for. So if you're not in the room and your name comes up,
I like that.
What do people think of when they think about you? Once you identify what your top 3 adjectives would be, you want to make sure that all of your communications are reflecting those 3. And
okay, so
tells you exactly what to post. It's easy, right?
I'm thinking of myself, which is like the opposite. So I'm like irreverent, sassy.
Hey, but if that's the persona that you want to build out there, that's perfectly fine.
Then it works.
But here's the thing: you own it. You know that's what you're going
own it
for.
Yeah, and exactly.
If you know that's what you want, you're not going to have a split personality online. You're not going to sometimes be super irreverent and, you know, middle finger to that. And then over here, like, God bless you. I think, you know, like, people are going to wonder, wait, who's showing up today? Just make sure that you're in harmony with what it is that you want to be.
I like that. The consistency is it's, you know, textbook 101 marketing. And my question here is this: we've been talking a little bit about executives, but what about the other employees? Like, you know, what's your advice to those employees who might want to engage, or how do you get them even motivated to engage as employee advocates?
You know, I think that whether you're an executive or you're not, it doesn't matter. It's the same. The rules have changed. We are now in an economy where we're all contractors, even if we work for a company. Everyone is expendable. I mean, what are we talking about with machines? Machine-human partnerships, yeah, but we also know part of that reality is some of these things are going to be replaced by a much more efficient method, which is a machine or an algorithm, right? Some replaced by software. But how do you secure your future is that you absolutely have to create your online presence, your online brand. Whether you're actively out there creating it or not, guess what? You have one. Before anyone is born nowadays, they have a digital footprint. Why? Because parents are posting all these prenatal pictures, right?
True.
Digital footprint.
Get the domain name.
Born.
Yeah.
So if you're not active on social, you have a brand. It's just not a good one. So it's, do you want to manage your reputation? Do you want to create your brand so that you have a very healthy way of contributing to your organization? So now the organization finds value in you because look at, you've created a thought leadership around something that you're very interested in. And then the other thing is that relying on our title and our position at an organization is really building your house on shifting sands. You have no control over that. What you do have control over is your brand. What's your brand? Create it. Hey, is there anything more exciting than going, wow, I can be anything I want to be? I just have to be it. So start being it. What's your 3 adjectives? Do the 30-30-40. Start sharing other people's stuff and start looking who is a thought leader or a journalist that you admire or an executive you admire or just, an activist that you admire. Who are the people that you admire within that framework of your interest, and start sharing, start becoming involved.
And what about, to me and you, this is obvious, but I think it's an important question to ask and to clarify. Why are employees, executives, it's a little more obvious because they're so high profile, but why are employees valuable as influencers to a company?
Because nobody believes what the executive says about a company, right? Come on. If you guys are watching this, are you not giving me the big head nod? Of course. Do you really believe? No. And so
True.
why are we, it's like the emperor's new clothes. Why are we pretending that everybody believes what an executive says? I mean, how many conferences have you gone to where the executive, the CEO's up there, or the CMO, or the CFO, the executive team is up there talking about the great things about the brand? Do we really look at that and go, wow, I really believe that coming from them? No, let's call a spade a spade. Let's call it out. I'm going to point and say there's no clothes on. We don't believe. Can we just admit that? So,
yeah, and there's nothing they can do about it. I mean, the bigger they are, of course, they have to be sanitized, and to some end, right? It just has to be the case.
Well, I think we don't believe because we know that there is a conflict of interest there. Of course, they're going to say great things about the company. They're the flipping executive team, right? Yeah. It's a conflict of interest issue. Instead, we believe the employees because we know they're not the CEO. They're not the CMO. We know that their whole life isn't revolving around the organization. Mm-hmm. And the poor executives are, honestly, it's hard to be an executive because your life does revolve around the organization. But we believe what employees say because they know the inner workings of the organization. They have the scoop, they have the skinny, they have the dirt, right? And if they seem to be happy, they seem to love their organization, they seem to be excited about things, that is so flipping attractive, right?
It's huge. Yeah.
And we start looking at that brand like, wow, I wonder what it'd be like to work there. And when you look, even forward to like the war on talent with organizations, really fighting for the best of the best out there in the new gig economy, those companies that are fun to work for, that people feel that they're growing, they're learning, they're engaged, those are the organizations that are going to win on the war on talent in the whole future of workspace.
That is a smart point too, because I think people think of employee advocacy very much as external marketing towards the customer, but they forget that it also is about recruiting and it's a key, right, there we go, factor there.
Absolutely. So. That's a mic drop right there. It's so true.
For sure.
We forget our customers are external and internal, right?
Yeah, right.
And I laugh when everybody talks about customer experience and the customer journey and all the touch points. I
agree.
Are you?
I'm over it.
Sick of the buzz terms, right? Instead, let's talk about what it means. Customers have a great experience, those external customers, when they're treated with respect and dignity and by a knowledgeable. There's nothing more frustrating than dealing with a customer service rep that has no idea what marketing and sales promised, right?
Right.
You're dealing with employees who are truly engaged, truly involved within the organization, are really excited, they understand what the brand message is, and that customer is handled in such a way as to create that experience, right?
Right.
Your internal customers, they have to have a great experience too, or they're not going to be able to deliver on that external customer experience. So this employee engagement, employee advocacy is so incredibly critically important.
Goes both ways.
Business growth and success.
Yeah. I love that. it's curious because we know this and we're a small company and we work really hard at that. But it's funny to see how many larger companies, like I've just been actually tweeting one in particular online that I won't mention, whose customer service has been awful. And they literally admitted to me that their marketing team is 100% siloed from the customer team. So they have no idea why they're not talking to me. And
wow,
they
said that? Wow.
Hello. Yeah. Like I'll send you the tweet. I was just like, what?
Oh, wow.
So to that end, we've got to wrap up in 60 seconds. If you could give any employee one tip that they could do to either improve their advocacy or even to get started, what do you think that might be? Your hot tip.
You're worth it. That's what I want to say. You're worth it. You are worth the investment in time to create your own reputation online. You deserve this. You work hard. You can do it. And get this, if you look at the fact that even just sharing someone else's information and just saying why it's important to you, you're creating a really positive brand. And, I think even if you haven't started yet, it's not overwhelming if you just pick a platform. You don't have to be on all of them. Just pick one, start with that. And 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. So you start off by answering people and engaging, putting a few posts up, and by answering if anyone's commented, put something up. That's all you got to do. And then it just starts from there. Again, what do we know from business? To innovate, it just takes one step. And really, your future, it's kind of up to you. But I think you're worth it. So
I love that. That's a great way to end. Tamara, you were totally worth it. So thank you. This has been amazing.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
We're talking about connection. Got to make sure everybody connects. I would love to.
Where are you?
I'm everywhere on social media. Just use my name because I can't remember anything else. So I'm Tamara McCleary on every single flipping platform you could possibly imagine. And then our company is, at Thulium Co. on Twitter because at Thulium was taken. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
And but you can find us Thulium, and then you've got to connect with Ursula Ringham. You've got to connect with Danielle Guzman at Mercer, and you have to connect with Alicia Tillman at SAP because these are powerhouse leaders to follow.
For sure. We'll put those links in the chat later so that everybody can just find them. But I just want to say thanks again. What a pleasure to have you here. And it's so nice to, again, I love that you're pointing to all powerful women today. So that's also an extra bonus of today's conversation.
I love powerful women.
So I'm Kate. Yeah, we are in this together. So thanks again to Tamara. I'm Kate Bradley Turnus. I'm the CEO of Lately. This is Lately Live. We'll do another Lately Live coming up in a few weeks, but I did want to invite everybody to a master writers class with me next Tuesday, where I will be showing you guys the tips and tricks that I use to optimize Walmart's social media to get them 130% ROI year over year for 3 years. So don't miss that. And thanks again, Tamara. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye.